Today I'm answering a question from Proverbs 3, verse 27, 28. And I think we have to look past religiosity of this age to understand some things. It says, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to do it." Well, when we have "do not withhold," what does it mean to withhold good?
Keep it. You're not passing it on?
Yes, you're not using it to another's benefit or to your own. You're not sowing a seed. It has basically 12 meanings in this verse, or this part of that verse. It means to withhold these things. One is forgiveness. How many know that being forgiven is good?
Yes. Yes.
So we have at least 6 of you know that being forgiven is good. And yet, we have a world that's being trained not to forgive. You get angry at people, you get cursing them, you do this, you do that, but you don't forgive them. See? And when you don't forgive, you give power of that person you're not forgiving to control your life. And yet that's one of the things that goes over and over in. It's a good that you're supposed to be sowing. You know, there's no freedom without it. And as Jesus put, unless you forgive, you can't be forgiven. So it's a double blessing good. The second point in here is love. It's good is a covering. It's a protector of secrets. It's a prayer. It's fasting, and it's even a hug. Well, if you withhold love, what are you doing?
You're exposing secrets,
Well, you're exposing a lot of things, but just look at love. What makes you feel better? Somebody coming up and saying, "I hate you"? Or somebody comes up and says, "You're a wonderful person, I love you"?
Thanks.
That makes you feel worse?
Better.
Better,
it
okay.
depends who it
What?
is. If it's Satan saying that to you, then that would feel
What?
bad.
You won't say it though.
No, that's good.
Okay. A covering. Well, a covering is also when you use your anointing to assist another person's when they're in trouble or they're trying to overcome a weakness or a sin or sometimes it's iniquity that's been in the family for thousands of years. They're trying to overcome it, and a covering is your anointing over another. You're using your anointing positively. When you're a protector of secrets, what kind of secrets do you think need to get protected?
Marital secrets.
Yes, marital secrets definitely need to get protected.
This might come under love covers a multitude of sins, but just when someone says something that's not in love, that you don't gossip and don't pass it on and tell others about it.
That doesn't come under secrets.
Okay.
What kind of secrets?
Ones that aren't good.
What are they?
Hello?
Counseling secrets.
Not good.
With the secrets that God gives to us.
Yeah.
Secrets that God gives us? Yes, there's some things that are mysteries that He gives us that we are supposed to keep as secret. They're for within the church, not for spreading around outside the church. There's sometimes revealed knowledge that God will give on a subject that is for you alone or for the church alone, not to be spread out for everybody. Okay? But there's other things that are secrets.
You don't cast your pearls before swine, so there's certain truths you are not ready to receive.
Yeah, but that's basically what we just talked about earlier, but now we're looking at another form of secret that people want you to keep.
Your true age. Our true age.
Insignificant, not a secret.
But even the lifestyle that you choose to live.
It may be a lifestyle. Yeah.
Is there maybe for certain destinies people God has for certain people that is between them and God alone?
It can be. But there's something else. Jesus says, unwise for you to compare yourself with another. Areas of your life that another could be used for comparing. Yeah. An area where you feel inferior to another person in is you're feeling inferior because of a comparison that has been made in the past. And that becomes a secret. And it's one that it is revealed is a character assassination. Prayers can also be a secret. They can be an issue of love, but they can be a secret. Go into your closet where nobody's gonna see you and do what? Pray.
Same with fasting.
It doesn't say, oh, I prayed about this. Aren't I wonderful?
It's between you and the Father.
How's
Yeah.
your secret place?
Or I got 5 or 6 people together and we prayed about your secret sin.
Over that area of inferiority.
Or the area of inferiority. Yeah.
If someone asks you to pray for them, you can say, yes, I'll pray for you, I pray for you, right? If they ask,
Yes, but you're not supposed to go around telling people who you prayed for. That's not love.
Are prayers in the Spirit secret prayers?
Yes, if Satan doesn't understand them,
Yeah.
it's in the God language and Satan doesn't understand them. God wants them secret.
So secret that He doesn't even tell us what we spoke.
Well, he will. He will if,
Yeah.
they're able to handle it. Fasting is a sign of love. You fast for others. We're coming up to a Benjamin fast. It's a fast so that we're fasting and praying that others will have their the areas of their life improved, or the good is able to be manifested in another's life. Something good, some kindness. And a hug. You know, when you're down, a hug can be a sign of love and uplifting.
It can't be secretive, though.
I didn't put it under secrets, I put it under love.
Okay.
That's number 2.
Okay.
The issue is love.
Okay.
Keeping secrets isn't part of love.
And our giving is also to be done in secret, and if somebody goes to trumpet it,
Then there is no love there. So what you're doing is you're withholding. If you go and you start bragging about how much money you gave another person to help them out of a difficulty, you're not walking in love. If you tell somebody else a secret, that's not love. Okay? If you give another person a hug because you're lusting after them, that's not love. You know? What we do is supposed to be a good thing, not an item that brings shame to another person or brings them down. So if you do anything that brings another person down, you're withholding a good thing that is due them. Even in leadership, you're withholding a good thing.
And those people who try to convert others, as you read some of these people, they go and they interview people and they say, do you know this, do you know that? And you're really putting them down. They don't know what the answer is. And they're trying to convert you, but you're supposed to be shining your light, not to shine your words.
Well, love doesn't high hand or high pressure another person. When you go and you do those things, that's not a sign of love, and that's not giving a good thing. And that is, same as like people say, well, accept the Lord. Well, that's not a good thing. Knowing who Jesus is and accepting Him is a good thing. But are they called at that time?
You can actually, it says, make them more willing to seal because of their...
Yes, more bounded to hell than anything else. Well, the third point of good is mercy. Mercy is a strange thing because they keep mixing it up with grace. Grace has mercy in it, but that doesn't mean that that's what mercy is. If you can feel another person's pain on a subject, that's an empathy to which mercy can be issued. If you have compassion on another person's hardships or what they're going through, you have a compassion for them on the matter, that's part of mercy. If a person is down and you kick them, that's not mercy. Do you notice that? I told you you shouldn't have done that. You're such a stupid fool. Does that look like you're giving mercy?
Judgment.
Well,
Judgment.
it's a judgment, but it's, you see, mercy is that you reach out and give a hand up. You allow a person to have a new day. You don't bring up their past. I often use this. Well, in 1814, your great-great-great-grandfather did this, so you're guilty. Okay? Well, what's that doing? That's pointing out that you're not giving a person a new day. You're living in their past and your past, not at the today's day.
You use that 1814 thing for us, not just our ancestors. You said you did this in 1814 when we weren't even born.
That has nothing to do with it.
No.
Were you not in your great-grandfather's loins at that time?
Yeah.
Oh! Isn't that amazing? Then you are guilty. For whatever they did. You see, that is why the aspect of mercy is that new day. Okay? And if you let them have a new day, God will give them that grace to have the day. He'll empower them to grow in the new day. Encouragement is part of mercy. When somebody comes in and they're negative and starts putting you down for every little thing, do you feel encouraged? Do you feel they're giving you mercy? Oh, they're walking in love towards you, though. They think they are, so they must be. No. Mercy gives encouragement. God doesn't give discouragement. Okay? It doesn't put you in a state of despair. Number 4 of what is a good thing is honor. How would you honor another person?
Just acknowledging what they do, giving them credit for what they do, maybe.
It could be that you give them credit for what they've done. That's a form of honor.
Appreciation.
Show a sign of appreciation, a gift of appreciation.
Or telling them the truth.
Yes, sometimes you can honor a person by being truthful with them.
Respecting them.
Yeah, respecting.
Honor God by
But
obeying.
honor is not quite respect. It's the different. An acknowledgement that they're where their pain is honoring a person. When you are willing to stop and listen, take the time to listen to where another person is in discomfort, you're giving them honor. If they have an opinion on something and they want to voice it, that you shut your mouth for them to be able to speak it out and be satisfied that they've been properly heard and understood where they're coming from. Then you honor them. You honor God when you tell Him what you went through for the day and how it made you feel and how you're willing to turn it over to Jesus your day. You honor Him when you ask Him what you should do on a certain subject.
And He honors you in turn.
So the aspect of honor is so much to do with a good thing. If you withhold a good thing from the brethren or from the leadership and those that God has put in charge, you dishonor God. So it's very important that we learn to give honor. Number 5 is respect. Now, Honor and respect are often confused. Respect can be a person's coming with an armful of materials to bring in, or carrying a bunch of stuff. Well, you just don't walk in and shut the door behind you and let them fumble around trying to reopen the door. And I've seen that happen. Or a person's walking and they see that another person's overloaded with stuff. They won't volunteer to carry something for another person. You see, when you volunteer to assist another person, you're showing respect. When you volunteer to pray with them, you're showing respect. When you help them have their needs met, you're showing respect. When you do things to help them build a character, build their character up to a godly standard, you're showing respect for that person. If you allow a person to deceive themselves in an error, you're not showing respect. Or you know that, let's say somebody went and put nails under all the tires out front. So you only take the nails from under yours and you take off. What kind of respect is that? There's no respect. No respect for God, no respect for the other people. So that aspect of respect is very important. It's why we're not to have cliques. We're not to show partiality, whether somebody's rich or poor or male or female or, you know, old or young. It's not the way of it. We're all responsible for teaching the children, being a light for them to follow, giving them words of encouragement, because that is respect. Children are a gift from God, and that's a respect of our Father. When we teach the children the way they should go. Number 6 is safety. Do you know people should feel safe around us? Otherwise, we're not doing a good thing. We're withholding good if they don't feel safe around us. Safety involves security, and you know, part of that is that you're visiting somebody's place, you don't go barging into their bedroom or into their bathroom when you know they're there. That's not security, that's not a safety. But people do it. How many have noticed that we don't have a lock on the bathroom door here? At least 5 people? Oh, 6? Oh, good. Okay, so you are counting on a good thing that people will recognize and give you security and safety in that room. It's part of the respect, but what you're giving is, see, when you respect another person's privacy, you're making them secure. And we don't have people running in all the time, barging in on others, do we?
You mind your own business. If you're doing business, you mind your business.
You don't wanna see what's going on.
Well, safety is one of the things that should be felt, because it's part of the light. Let your light shine. Well, if people can feel safe around you, or with you in their house, or with you in their presence, if they can feel that, you are letting your light shine. Okay? If they don't, you got a problem. In different areas, they have different moral standards in there. But wherever you go, the people around you should feel safe in your presence. They should be able to feel that you're not going to steal from them. Okay? You're not going to try and find out their secrets so you can tell everybody. And there's people that have done that. Okay?
And they should feel safe too, that you're not going to dump on them or bring them down.
Bring them down, yes. Number 7 is peace. If a person can be at peace in your presence, then you're not withholding a good thing. If you're nagging at them, they're not happy. There's no peace. If you're cursing and labeling them, guess what? They're not happy. There's no peace. Well, part of peace is to be able to rest. And sometimes you can go into a person's home and you can't rest there. You can't relax. You can't enter a covenant of peace with that person. And God says you're supposed to get out and shake the dust off your clothes of that place. All the demonic attachments you release.
And God is the perfect example of that, because He gives us a peace that passes understanding. But last night I laid down a bunch of stuff, and one of the few times I really felt a special peace and a joy coming this morning. It was not explainable.
Well, you see, part of giving peace or being not withholding a good thing is when you come in line with another person's purpose or another person's vision of what they need to do. When you're a backer of others and not a stumbling block for them.
Are we not, like if you go to an individual's home or whatever, are we not supposed to speak out the words of peace be unto your home?
Yes, we're supposed to bless the home.
Yes, first before you do.
Number 8 is integrity. Now, integrity means that we not only value ourselves, but we value the importance of other people. Integrity means you not only won't steal from them, you won't kill them, you won't go and rape their wife or their husband. But you know something? Integrity also means that you won't take God's name in vain, or you won't curse in their presence. It means that you won't breach the Sabbath day for your own pleasure. And integrity means that you value the vows that you've given, you value the covenants that you're under and in, and you don't do anything to hurt the ones that you're in covenant with, or your ones that you're married to, or other vows to. Having this integrity where people can see the integrity in motion draws people to you. God can open doors for you when you have integrity. And if you're withholding that integrity, where you're not walking with it in front of employers, fellow employees, with, other members of the church. We had a person here one time that, when church was over, he wanted to invite a bunch of the single guys to go out to a strip club with him. Well, that's not integrity. That's not integrity in motion. Okay? And it's not valuing anybody around you. 9 is time. Time is a good thing. But have you noticed that you all have just 24 hours in a day? Oh. So when you value another person's time, what do?
You're not late.
You're not late.
Don't waste their
Yes.
time.
You don't do things that cause them to waste time.
Or tell same stories over and over and over again.
Oh, but you like listening to them, don't you?
That's why she said that.
Well, a good thing is that you can listen to somebody, but also protect to you. But you don't let them squander their time either. There's a control factor in there that needs to be. So you could be listening to God. A time set just to listen to God. You may have a time set just for praising, worshiping, or covenanting. A time where you have a covenant meal with others, or covenant meal with God. That's part of not withholding a good thing. Can is financial support. Now, financial support may mean money, but it can also mean food, clothing, housing. What else could it mean? Like picking somebody else up to make sure they can get to church? Number 11 is kindness. Now, kindness does entail gentleness. It's a blessing and it's an encouragement. So when somebody is kind to you, they're actually giving a blessing unto you. Right? They're using their authority as a son or child of God to bless you in a physical way. And number 12 is assistance. Now, many people look at assistance as meaning, you give financial assistance like social assistance or, no, that's not what it means. Assistance may mean help in doing something that they need to get done, but it may mean advice or a service that you run for them. It can mean guidance. Assistance can be when you say, no, that is a wrong thing to do. Or what you're doing is not wise. Some people don't, they get so offended at no. But if you say, that is not wise, often they'll listen.
And if you're mentioning protect your time, there's a whole book written about boundaries where you protect your own space for your own time.
But it's in the aspect of Proverbs 3:27, it says, do not withhold good from those to whom it is due. Well, you got to know what good is. And these are the 12 aspects that are biblically defined as to what good is.
Thank you, we've never thought of all those 12.
Now, on the part of the verse where it says, to whom it is due, well, who is that due? The first is, it's due to all the pastors and anointed leaders. Part of the government of God. Parents. Number 2 there. Number 3 is mates and children. Four is brethren. 5 is relatives and siblings. You also have bosses, employers. 7, you have professionals. 8, you have law enforcers and government leaders. 9 is your neighbors, friends, acquaintances. And 10 is all others. Now, who does that leave out?
Nobody.
You could have just given us number 10.
No, because there's a rank of order of priority involved here. When it is in your power to do it, remember this part of the verse refers to the first part as prime. So, do not withhold good. Now, when you have that, it tells us the second part is as receivers, which we just listed as to whom it's due. It tells us that we have a choice and that God accepts us and expects us to choose wisely into how we move and how we give good. And to give out what is good abundantly. We're not supposed to be stingy. We're supposed to be joyful givers. And that means givers of good. We can't be stingy in our forgiving. It doesn't work. Well, your power implies, 1, being a joyful giver. If you're a sour giver, whoa, bad things come. Stingy giver, bad things come. It implies that you're, number 2, it implies wise disbursement. You don't go around calling somebody your brother unless you know they're walking with Jesus. The repercussions can be very bad. Some people pick up causes, but their cause isn't because they have the heart in it. It's because it gives them attention, money, and they make themselves look like they're following a thing that God is going to bless. Number 3, avoiding of casting of pearls before swine. Number the 4th, your power implies standing in the gap for another. 5, crying and sighing where it is needed. You know, there's great persecution right now taking place in Ukraine. The Russian insurgents that are causing all the trouble have been told to single out and kill Jews, kill Sabbath keepers, and kill those that have a strong belief in Jesus. Number 6, being observant of the needs of others. When we're only concerned about our own needs, we can't be watching what others need or meet their needs. Reminds me of a situation in which this older couple, they're just getting by with the money they got. They came in and somebody had ransacked their house, smashed their TV, smashed all the dishes. They did a tremendous amount of damage to the inside of their home. And they had no insurance for vandalism or of this nature. They had no money to replace anything. Well, all the neighbors knew what state they were in, financial state. And they did nothing to help them. A 9-year-old girl in a neighboring city heard about what happened, and she started raising money to help these people. And gifts of material came in. Well, they received enough money to do the repairs to the house, to their home. And the gifts, every gift that was given, replaced what had been damaged.
Hallelujah. Awesome.
Was blessed.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's part of, it was in her power. It was in the neighbor's power, to do something. Well, when what happened is that this young girl and her mom, she didn't have a father, but the bank had taken their house. So when they got too old where they couldn't maintain their house anymore, what they did is they turned the ownership of the house over to the mother. But that's a type of observance. It was in your power to do good. And that's what God wants us to use, our power to do good in the observant of where there's needs for others have needs. Like even the collection for the orphans, or those that are been injured because of the wars and fighting that in Israel. The seniors that had to leave everything behind in Russia and Ukraine to migrate into Israel. Well, there's no funds in Israel to support them. And the churches and all that were supposed to be there they've all abandoned them. They're starving. Well, that's not, these churches had the power to do good and did not. Well, there's many that it's in their power to do good, but they don't want to maintain doing good. You know? And that's what this is. Being observant of the needs of others means that you seek to see where you can do good. Now, the 7th point is a willingness to fast for others. 8 is a willingness to intercede for the needs of others. 9 is a willingness to hug, to cry, to laugh, to support and to bless others. You know, it says, cry with those that cry. Laugh with those that laugh. Be a support. And that's what that willingness to hug is all about. And 10, honor everyone as if they were an older brother, it says. And with this understanding, we are now able to look at verse 28. It says, do not say to your neighbor, go and come back, and tomorrow I will give it, when you have it with you to give now. The main concept here is, don't make anyone feel like a cheap beggar or unworthy. You know, there's a person that had bald tires out front. You know, they was coming to church and one went flat. And they couldn't buy new tires. Another person had the tires from a former vehicle that fit perfectly onto that one. Brand new. But said, well, I'll think about it and let you know on Monday whether I'll let you have them or not. But they're stranded out front. Number 2 is don't encourage lying and conning. Now, when you can lie to yourself and con yourself into things as to why you shouldn't help somebody. You know, it's a big problem, but it causes coldness of heart. 3, don't bring rejection down upon another or from another onto you. Rejection will always bring betrayal in. And like the person had these tires that they weren't using, they could have given them 4 new tires. And cleared it, cleaned out a space in the garage. But they didn't have to give the tires. And when they moved, they threw those tires in the dump. And part of the warning on this one that God is giving is, do not force another to resort to stealing. If they're in need and they've come for help, don't force them to go to stealing. 5, don't encourage cursing, labeling, and venting. Do you think that person that didn't give the tires to help out this other party was blessed by that party?
Should have been.
Not likely.
They were not blessed, but they were cursed, and they were labeled, and the person spent a lot of time venting at the insensitivity of that person that had these tires that they couldn't even use.
So offenses work both ways, the offender and the offendee.
Mm-hmm. The part of the phrase, do not say to your neighbor. This is a warning of sowing and reaping plus cause and effect. It is a warning that to say to means to say over, as a curse or a spell. See, when you say to your neighbor or say over your neighbor, go and come back, what state are you putting them into? They know you have it. It's in your hand to give. You tell them to come back the next day
Hopelessness.
or later. Yes, hopelessness is definitely involved.
Squandering their time.
Oh, you picked it up exactly. The statement, go and come back, means I will make you suffer, and I will release the demon of squandering upon you and your family. Is that a blessing? Go and come back tomorrow. It means I seek to control you, enslave you, to demote you, and to torment you. Now, does that sound like love?
No.
Okay. And if that were not enough, it implies I love my things more than you. Things are more important than another person. And you know, husbands will often say that to wives. I love my things more than I love you. There are many things that we can tell a person to go and come back later on. I'm busy on my computer. I'm busy playing this game on my iPhone. Don't bother me for now. You're not worthy of my time. See, these are the parts that cause the problem. In the phrase, and tomorrow I will give it, this means I will set abusive conditions over you. I hold you in contempt or demeaning. I have this demeaning approach to you. You will always be unacceptable as a brother in Jesus hereafter in my sight. I'll give it tomorrow when you have it in your power to give it today. You're telling them that you are looking at them as unacceptable as a member of the family of God, as a brother of Jesus. And does that sound like love? Now, the condition of implication is when you have it with you to give. The previous statements have nothing to do with when you do not have it available. It's not implying that. It's implying when you do have it. Somebody asks you to spend some time praying. Oh, I don't have time now. Call me tomorrow. Okay? Bad news. If someone needs $10,000 and they ask you for it at, let's say, 8 p.m. at night, that does not mean you are guilty of labeling, cursing, or placing demonic control on another. It just means you got to go to the bank the next day to get it if you promise to give it. When you go to the bank and you get it, it's not available in your hand until you got it, is it? So there are conditions to which this is. But let's say you only have $100 to your name and somebody wants you to give them $10,000. You say, well, I don't have that available. Are you putting them down, slandering them? No. That's not what that phrase, what those two scriptures mean. However, you are guilty if you have the money and you are willing to lend it, but are stalling them. I know most of you don't carry $10,000 around as petty cash to spend on a whim. Aaron says he does.
Well, we'll talk with plastic in use today, nobody really does
I think
anymore.
we're gonna have to use this.
Let's take a look behind the church and beat him until we get his money. And we'll
Well,
do-
the idea you can't give what you don't have. But if you have it, and it's not creating a burden into your family and you agree to give it, you should give it right away. Ease the pain and suffering of another. And often the most abused things is over time of, time on things. If somebody phones me and asks me to interpret a dream and then they phone 6 other people to see if they get the same reading, they're squandering those 6 other people's time. And what they're doing is trying to steal from them. And that's not what this is telling you to do. We are to be a service one to another. And what it's saying is that in these 2 scriptures, that when we have the power to do good, don't withhold it.